Let's analyse the latest situation politically, and of course those strikes by the US over the weekend. Shirli Sitbon, our international affairs from our international affairs desk, is with me here on set. Shirli, what's the latest we know on how successful, or not, of course, these strikes on Iran may have been by the US?
Well, all we can do now is look at the satellite images and wait for various scientists and officials to reveal what we know. Of course, the main elements they wanted to destroy are deep underground because Iran knew this day was coming. The US and Israel had been threatening for years and even perhaps 2 decades to hit its nuclear sites. And we can see some of the images, and you can see these trucks. And some people believe that these trucks were used to bring, there's some bulldozers there as well, to fill in all of the tunnels, the entrances to these underground sites to protect them from what the Iranians had been expecting, these massive bombardments. So yes, in these sites, it's believed that the Iranians tried to protect them. Also, Iranian state television, many people believe that the Iranians took out evacuated the sites. The state media says that the 3 sites had been evacuated from people, but also for much of the enriched fuel in some of them, and some major crucial components, the building blocks of the nuclear program. That's what we can see. And we can also look at, well, the before and after images, which show that above the ground, there are obviously craters in these various areas, but difficult to know what's underneath. When Israel attacked the first time, you know that in Natanz, for example, it destroyed what was above the ground. The question is what's underneath, and there are indirect ways to harm and damage the nuclear sites. Sometimes, for example, bringing down the electricity can damage the centrifuges, and also the shock waves from all of these bombings, they can also damage all of this material. But everyone says this is no solution. Of course, first of all, Iran says we never wanted to produce a weapon, to build a weapon. And everyone says, well, the science is still there. There's so many scientists involved in this. There's a know-how in Iran, and it's determined to continue and rebuild. If the program hasn't been damaged, it intends to rebuild it.
Just in the last few moments, Shirley, just hearing from the Israeli military saying citizens can now leave protected areas, signalling, of course, that Iran's missile threat that we were talking about at the top of the programme is now over. Shirley, what about Benjamin Netanyahu and where his mind might be as well? Let's hear from him first, the latest that he's been saying.
I have no doubt that the Iranian regime wants to eliminate us. They want to eliminate our existence. Therefore, we started this operation to end the concrete threats on our existence, the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat. We are moving forward step by step to achieve these goals. We are very close to achieving them.
Benjamin Netanyahu there. So, Shirley, is Israel or Netanyahu's plan changing here? I mean, his targets were just the nuclear plants. Is it now more about regime change?
Well, not officially. A military spokesperson said this morning, changing a regime is not a goal in itself, but we consider that it would be a bad thing. That's what the spokesperson said just a few hours ago. The goal is still officially to destroy or damage significantly the nuclear sites, the missiles launchers, and also, apparently, I mean, I hadn't heard this before, but this morning they said the third goal is to make it impossible for Iran to fund terrorist groups. So not clear how long this is going to last. Benjamin Netanyahu had a kind of a strange sentence yesterday saying that Israel will not try to drag this along, but it will not end this before it's over. So not clear if it's going to last for a few days, for a few weeks, not clear at all. But yes, the Israeli prime minister talking for almost since the beginning about this possibility, this will of his to see the regime change in Iran, with many people, even in Israel, criticizing this and saying this, eliminating a head of state is not going to resolve anything, no way to make, it's only going to create chaos and anger, and there's already a lot of anger, of course. But yes, we've been hearing this more, and of course everyone knows that since yesterday, Donald Trump has been, also looking at this direction of changing the regime. But Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, has already named several successors. But the Israelis, you can see this, they're looking at this report which was issued in the Atlantic, and there's a, detailed in all the Israeli media translation of everything saying, well, there's hope, because everyone says the Iranians are not going to, they're angered, they're not going to change the regime now. Well, apparently some people are trying to move things in Iran, but that's an article, but that's just, what the Israelis are perhaps some wishful thinking, hoping for this, but there's no, there's absolutely no proof of this coming out of Iran. We've seen actually people very angry with all that's happened.
Let's talk as well, Shirley, finally, about support for Iran. We've been hearing on the programme the Iranian foreign minister has gone to see Vladimir Putin in Russia, but there seems to have been a pretty muted response from those seen perhaps as traditionally more allied to Iran.
Absolutely. We waited for long hours yesterday before Russia's foreign ministry condemned the U.S. attack on Iranian nuclear sites, and waited even longer for China's reaction. China, who actually said that it's asking everyone to step back, especially Israel, it noted. Russia just saying that all this should stop. Clearly, we saw in what we heard the foreign minister clearly said that this meeting today is crucial, but we have not seen the Russians helping Iran, defend itself, intercepting all the attacks from Israel and from the U.S. Although Russia and Iran have a strategic partnership agreement signed just months ago. Well, the Iranians said that today, the foreign minister said that he's going to discuss this with Vladimir Putin today, because he says that should be the key to the response. The Iranians saying to everyone, trying to rally support, saying this is not just about us. This is about, the rule of law. This is a precedent. This could, damage security. This could lead to a proliferation of nuclear weapons. And so now shouting out to their main backer, the Iranians have supported Russia in their war in Ukraine, supplied weapons. Well, they're not seeing yet any kind of concrete support on the ground from the Russians.
Shirley, thanks very much.